All right, welcome into another episode of the Goodman and Hummel podcast. I'm Jeff Goodman. He's Robbie Hummel. And finally, we have a Purdue basketball player who can actually play ball. It's about time. I've had to deal with Robbie Hummel forever. Now we got a real baller in West Lafayette, Jaden Ivey. Jaden, thanks for joining us, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Robbie, listen, all I know is your vertical, Jaden, might be twice as high as Robbie's 19 and a half inches. That's all. Might even be more than twice as high, Rob.
Jaden, let me tell you, man, if you ever have a bad day of vertical testing like I did at age 32, never tell this idiot right here because he'll never let it go. He will never let it go. Hey, your mom was an assistant at Notre Dame for a long time in the women's program, and you grew up, I've read, rebounding for Skylar Diggins and around Jewel Lloyd and around Muffet McGraw. How was that experience for you, being around such high-level these basketball minds and talent?
I'm gonna say it was fun. Honestly, it was just fun to be around, Skylar, and just a lot of great talent. And growing up, you don't see, kids like that, being coach's child and, just being around such great talent. And I just grew up in that, stage at an early age, and, it was fun to be around, honestly.
Did you feel pressure to go to Notre Dame at all with your mom and just the fact that you were so ingrained with that university?
I don't think I felt any pressure. I just felt like, I was just in a situation where my mom, was the coach, and, I just had access. That's really it. I had access to, the gym because, my mom was always, working. And, I just utilized it. And, obviously, that's home, and that's family. I know a lot of, the people at that university. And I didn't really, have pressure, on going there. It was just, I was just trying to, find myself, because I love the game. And it was just, just working hard and, trying to, eventually maybe get a scholarship from them and, get a scholarship or anywhere. So, I wouldn't say it was a lot of pressure to go there, but, I, had to find the right situation at Purdue, and, it was that.
So, Jaden, why weren't you more heavily recruited? Obviously high majors wanted you, but you weren't a guy that, the blue bloods were even looking at. Why do you think?
I just think I was overlooked. Maybe I wasn't, as high as everybody else in the rankings. But I can tell you I was working probably way harder than, mostly all of them. Just from the work that I put in, day in and day out. I felt like I was number one player. And, I just stayed down and, I just worked hard, and I didn't really, care about, the rankings, and, the college is not looking at me. I knew, I'll find a great team with a great coach. And I knew that from, the day, Coach Painter offered me a scholarship, that, that was a place where I, really wanted to, take a look at and, see, I could see myself playing there. And, it just, the situation happened, and, it just all worked out for me, and, the perfect fit for me.
So you call Painter a great coach.
Yeah.
Give me who's the better coach, Painter or your mom?
Oh, man, that's tough. My mom is, man, she's obviously giving me a lot of tips on the game. Starting at a young age, just, I feel like she's helped me mold my game. Just from her being, in the NBA status, when she was there, I mean, it was nice to her. She would be watching film, and, I was right there next to her watching it. And, she would tell me, a lot of different details in the league. And, I feel like, Coach Painter, has a lot to offer for me is building my game up and, molding me as a player. He's helped me in so many different ways. And he just gave me a lot of tips on, how to stay patient. Because I remember last year I was up and down. And he just kept giving me, little remarks like, hey, be patient, like your time's coming, and continue to stay in the gym, and just little details on the court, that really help, build my game up. And obviously, at the end of the year last year, I feel like I, just improved, just playing on the court, and just being an all around, great teammate, and he just helped me in all aspects. So I feel like both of them have helped mold my game.
So you didn't answer. You're not answering the question, are you?
He gave the good answer, man. He didn't. He went with both.
Yes, smart man, Jaden. You don't need to get in trouble with your playing time or your whatever check's coming your way from your mom.
Man, his playing time's not going anywhere. Let's be real. That's not in jeopardy, regardless of what Jaden says here. Jaden, I think with Purdue fans, it's been a tortured road for the number one ranking. And with Duke losing last night, if you guys beat Iowa, you're going to be the number one team in the country. I know when I was at Purdue, we were the number 3 team in the country. Kansas and Kentucky both lost. So if we were to win in Minnesota and then beat Michigan State, we would have been number 1. I ended up blowing my knee out against Minnesota. We lost to Michigan State. And, that was probably our last good chance that we had to be ranked number 1. Have you guys talked about what it means to be number 1, or what that would do for this group?
So have we ever been number 1, Purdue?
No, which is crazy. It is really crazy because there's been some really good teams at Purdue.
I think, obviously, I watched the game last night, and I just I texted my teammates, and I was just like, "Hey, we got to lock in even more." We see Duke's number 1, and obviously lost to a good team in Ohio State, but it's just. We put in a lot of work, and, at any given night, everyone's going to give, Purdue's their best shot each game. And we just got to, lock in even more, and we know what's at stake. And obviously, hopefully, we'll be number 1, and but we got to maintain that, throughout the whole season and in March. And, it's going to be hard, but, I think, we got a great group of guys, and, our coaches are, at their great state, and I think we'll be fine. We just gotta lock in even more, and keep playing together.
So I was at Mohegan Sun last week, seeing you guys play a couple games. Was there in the preseason, and I told you this. I said the thing that impressed me the most about you was your unselfishness, your willingness to make guys better. When there were a lot of NBA guys in the stands, you probably knew that, and a lot of guys would have tried to do their own thing. And I thought you made some great decisions, especially in the open court. Unbelievable passes that I didn't know you had in you, to be honest, until then. And you're shooting the ball better. You went from shooting like 26 last year to now you're in almost the mid 40s from 3. What was it that you did this past summer that has allowed you to take this step?
The biggest thing was I took more shots. I took even more shots than I did, the previous summer. And I think it's just, sticking with the routine, my daily routines, shooting early mornings and, come back late nights. And it was just, it really was just, sticking to the plan, trusting my shot, obviously having confidence in my shot. I've always had that, and it was just sticking with it, to be honest. And I feel like in games, it was just taking the right shot. I feel like last year some shots weren't good. There's some shots were bad shots. And I realized that I know which, shot is a good shot from a bad shot. And, it's just day by game or game by game, it's just improving my shot and just taking the right shot.
I know everybody's talked about your offense, Jaden, rightfully so, because you've been fantastic. But I know the coaching staff has really challenged you to be one of those elite two-way players in college basketball. How would you assess how you've been defensively?
I feel like I've been I think I've improved since last year. Coming in as a freshman, it's hard. It's hard as a freshman because you're just learning, the system, and you're getting and especially with COVID last year, it was just crazy, and you're just trying to learn everything, grasp everything that the coaches say, and it's hard. I can't say it was easy last year. I went through trials and tribulations that whole year last year. I can't say that it was easy, but as the games progressed, I just started to get a feel, for the game, and for how college ball is played, and I just listened to what the coaches say. I came in and watched film, and that's what I'm continuing to do now. And I just got a great feel for the game, and defensively, I just feel like I'm in the right spots now to where I wasn't, freshman year. I kind of know, the defensive principles, where to be on the floor, just being a help defense, and a lot of the defensive principles that, the coaches teach, where I did last year, I didn't really, understand it. And I feel like, this year, being my second year, I feel like I've grown in that aspect.
I feel like you can't play.
Before you go there, Jeff, what did it do when Travion Williams, who was borderline All-American last year, he's first team All Big Ten, and what does it do for this group when he says, "Yo, I'll come off the bench"? That's if it helps the team, I'm for it. How big was that for this group?
Man, Travion is a big time player. Whether or not he starts, whether he comes off the bench, he's a big time player. So, he's gonna, help us win in any way he can, just being on the floor. He's an ultimate team player. I mean, obviously, he was starting last year, and this year, obviously, coach changed the lineup, and he could have been, really mad, and I haven't seen him mad, since coaches changed the lineup. But I mean, he's just an ultimate team player, and it just shows, how mature he is, and we need him to be, our leader, and he is our leader, and it just shows how mature he is on the court.
Yeah, watching him on the bench last week was honestly, that might have been the most fun I've had watching a game, just to see a guy that, again, could be pissed off, could be sulking, hanging his head. Instead, he's the first one up for not just you, Jaden, but like for Zach. Like Zach does something well, and he is the first one up cheering for him. And it's real. It's not BS. It's not him just playing in a game. You can tell he's legitimately happy just to win right now. So that blows me away, and I think it sets the tone for you guys. And it's almost like everybody in that locker room looking around saying, like, all right, I could be mad. Maybe I'm not getting the minutes I should get, but how can I really be mad when Travion was a first-team All-League guy a year ago, and now he's coming up on the bench?
I just think, Travion is, a big-time player. Just coming where I'm going to say, coming from where he's from, Chicago, hard times, and, he just doesn't, he looks past that, and he just plays it. And I think, it just comes to, his hard work that he puts in and day out. Him and Zach, really. I think they both, work hard. And, he's just a big time player.
So a year ago, my guess is you weren't on any draft boards anywhere. Even when you came back from the injury, you told like you were not good. You were not playing well. And I don't know how crazy it is for you. And if you even look at the stuff, I got to do one next week in mock draft. And I'm not even going to tell you where I'm going to have you, because I don't need it going to your head. I don't need paint yelling at me. But how crazy is it to think that a year ago you were nowhere on a draft board? Nobody was talking about you as an NBA prospect. And now most places are going to have you as maybe a high lottery pick.
Honestly, it's just a blessing from God, man. It's just a blessing, just to even be recognized, even be on any draft board. You know, it's been a dream of mine since I was a kid, like to just even be in consideration to be drafted. Like, so obviously, you know, I'm just blessed to be in this position that, you know, God has a plan for me, and you know, we'll see where that goes. But you know, I mean, it's just a blessing. But you know, honestly, I'm just focused on, you know, winning, you know, a championship, you know, for Purdue. I honestly, I haven't really, you know, looked at it. I haven't really, you know,
and don't look at the mock drafts. Don't look at anything. Don't listen to what people tell you. Any of that crap. Just play like you did when you know, nobody was talking about you. Play, you know, have that same hunger and that same drive like Rob did.
I come in, you know, every game trying to prove myself like I was in high school, you know, trying to, you know, have colleges come, you know, look at me and, you know, take interest in me. That's how I feel like, you know, each game I just got to, you know, continue to prove myself. And that's what I come with, that mentality, you know, every game. You know, I just got to stick with it.
Jaden, Jeff might have said something stupid that you weren't on his NBA radar, but I knew you were going to be an NBA player, so don't listen to his shit right here. Does Coach Payne still say don't drink the poison? When does he ever say that to you guys about press clippings?
What did he say that with you when you were at Purdue?
Oh, he would. It was always the press clippings can't kill you if you don't drink the poison. Does he still say that?
He never told me that one.
Man, see this guy. Coach Payne he's softened up. He is. Does he throw the ball off the backboard anymore?
You said what?
Does he throw the ball off the backboard anymore?
It kills me sometimes. He'd be doing behind the back passes. You know, it's crazy.
But he never throws it off the backboard when he's mad. Like he used to be standing at half court. We'd be doing stuff, and when somebody would really screw up, and he'd be really mad, he would take the ball and he would throw like a hook pass. And sometimes he hit the backboard. And sometimes
you can't do that anymore.
What?
You can't do it anymore because if he hits somebody with it, now he's fired. Back when
that was the funniest part because sometimes he'd hit the bottom of the backboard or the side, and it would ricochet off and, you know, like drill somebody, or sometimes he'd miss the backboard altogether and it would go into the stand. And it was one of those deals where you're like, I really want to laugh, but I'm really afraid that he'll be like, "Oh, you think it's funny? Like, go touch the top of the stadium," right? You know, like stuff like that. So I'm sad to hear that he's not. Man, he's just not what he used to be. Jaden, who do you compare yourself to? I know I've heard some Russell Westbrook, some John Morant. I think you shoot it better than Russell Westbrook. But who would you say you model your game off of?
12, John Morant, for sure.
Yep. Did your mom coach him?
Yeah.
She did.
His rookie year. That's when I really because I went to the games sometimes, and I just really, you know, took note of his game, and it was just like I got to start watching this dude because I see a lot of similarities in my game, and you know, shoot, I watch his highlights before every game, just trying to, you know. I just love watching his pace, you know, his change of speed, getting to the basket, and, you know, his highlight dunks, just his craftiness. That's what I really take note of when I, you know, watch his highlights, and I just try to, you know, take some of his stuff and, you know, implement it into my game.
Didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
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 Hey, didn't you tell me, Jaden, that you weren't that athletic until a couple of years ago or something, that you weren't super athletic when you were in high school?
I really like in high school, I had like, I could dunk the ball and I could, you know, do some cool dunks. So I feel like I wasn't as athletic than I am now. Like I really don't know how I got some, I guess God gave me a little bit more bounce. I don't know, but I mean, in high school, I really wasn't athletic as I was now.
You know, my vertical is higher than a 19.5. Jaden, did you know that?
I believe that.
My vertical higher than 19.5. We're gonna settle this in the off season, Jaden. I'm on the keto diet right now, and I've lost about 15 pounds. I got about another 5 or 10 that I want to lose, and then we're gonna settle this thing in the off season between me and Hummel in a vertical.
Okay.
Jaden, if I lose to this dude in anything athletic, I will never play sports again. But basketball, golf, I will hang it all up. I will never be able to do it because this guy. I can still dunk. Yeah, I can still dunk. I can still even dunk off vert. My goal is to be able to dunk, not just period until I'm 40. I didn't get the random burst of bounce like you did, unfortunately. You blow your knees out and it just tanks like, the stock market on Black Wednesday or whatever. It's tough. But what's it been like to you came in with Zach. What's it been like to watch him grow from, last year we're like, okay, this kid's got a chance, to now it's like, man, this dude is a freaking monster. I mean, just a stud.
Yeah, I call him Godzilla, man. The dude is a beast, man. It's just, I think, he came in with the mentality like not everyone's expecting me to be good, and they don't see anything in me right now. And he just came in with the mentality that, I'm gonna keep working hard, and I'm gonna prove myself when I step on that court. And that's what he's been doing, all year long. I seen him when, my freshman year coming out. I knew he was gonna be really good, and he's just dominant. He's hard to stop. And he comes in. I shoot after every practice, and I see him, on the other floor, doing his work. So I believe in Zach, a lot, and it's just a testament to how much work he's put in, over the years.
I want to see him. I know he told me he played baseball growing up. Imagine him bearing down on you at 7'4" off the mound. What that would look like.
That's crazy.
Insane. Right?
He can run faster, but taller. Shit's crazy.
The thing that blows me away about him the most is watching him shoot free throws. Because I've never seen a 7-footer that smooth shooting free throws. It's like most guys are going to get hacked, Shaq, and you go down the line, most big guys. And with him, you can't do that. He's one of your best free throw shooters.
He's got great touch. Like, he's got big hands, like great touch on his shot, man. He's dominant.
Jaden, why are you guys the best team in the country?
We just got so many pieces. I mean, it's hard to stop when you have a great team with great pieces, and that all play together, all gel in as a team. And it's just a hard team to stop when you have that type of talent on the team. And you stop one, you still got Brandon Newman, and you still got Zach Edey, you still got Travion Williams, you still got Junior, and Sasha, the best shooter in the nation. So I just think we just got too many pieces, and everyone gels in together, and we just play for one another.
All right. The last thing before we go, I just want to get a little feedback from you, Jaden, on a list I put together. It doesn't include active players, so you're not eligible for this. But I don't know if you can see it well. This is my all-time Purdue player list, and obviously Rick Mount, number one. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'll try to get a little closer for you. Rick Mount's one, the big dog, obviously two. Joe Barry Carroll's 3. E'Twaun Moore 7. Chris Kramer 10. Brad Miller, I think I got him at like 15 or something. And I do have Hummel at 50, just so you know. I got him in there. I put him in at 50. He's in there right ahead of Sandy Marcius, right ahead of Sandy. So any issue with any of those, Jaden?
I think Robbie got to get up there, man.
Yeah. Thanks, Jaden. Hey, Jeff's not.
Robbie got to be up there.
It doesn't matter.
What did you say, Rob?
So you're not in my top 1,000 of my college basketball rankings, so it doesn't matter to me.
I think Rob's maybe 4. I'm going to put Rob at 4 behind Joe Barry Carroll. That's where I'm putting him. Number 4 all time, Purdue. Listen, Jaden, you have a chance to. The craziest part, and Robbie said this, and I don't know if we've asked Paint this, but Rob said this last week. He said, you might be the most talented player to come through West Lafayette since the big dog, since Glenn Robinson, which It's a long time ago. I mean, to hear that from somebody like Robbie Hummel, one of the all-time greats to come through Purdue, what does that mean to you?
I just say it again. It's a blessing, man. Blessing from God. I'm just thankful that I'm just in this position. With a great team. With great coaches and Coach Painter, and his staff. And I'm just thankful to just be in this position. I can only thank God for real. And I'm just gonna keep going and day by day, just take it step by step and just keep going.
Jaden, before you go, I just wanted you to know, man, I talked to a lot of guys that I played with and played at Purdue, and everybody is so proud of your guys' group, man. Fun to watch you guys. You're unselfish. Good luck the rest of the year, man. It's been awesome to watch you guys.
Thank you so much, Robbie. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Jaden. Good catching up again, man. And keep making your teammates better. Like I said to you, that makes life easier for you at the end of the game, because honestly, you're going to get uncontested threes. You're going to have more space to work with. All that. You got two of the best bigs in the country. So do what you've been doing. And I've got you at number one, but you got to take care of business later this week.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Jaden.
See you guys.
Thanks, Jaden. Appreciate it, man. Good luck, dude. Fun watching you guys.
Thank you.
These days, small business owners are busier than ever, and spending time searching for the right candidates can feel like you're just taking time away from growing your business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find people you want to talk to faster and for free. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, and use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know every week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/good. That's linkedin.com/good to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Purdue star Jaden Ivey, sophomore guard, Rob, he has been electric, and he is electric. Like, that's the one thing to me that Purdue has that you can look around at those other top teams, right? Gonzaga, they've got Drew Timme, they've got Chet Holmgren, they got some good guards, Nembhard, Duke, they got Paolo, they got Mark Williams, maybe Trevor Keels, but he's settled down a little bit. What Purdue has is something that nobody else has, which is you can put the ball in his hands, Jaden Ivey, and say, go make a play, period.
Well, I thought against Gonzaga, Duke did have that. I thought they lived in the paint, but it was a different story against Ohio State. You're totally right. Jaden Ivey, his decision-making in transition is as good as anybody in the country. And he's an elite athlete. His vertical is – how many guys, not just at Purdue, but in college basketball, have windmilled in game? I mean, that list is like Sean Kemp and, guys like that. He's on that. He has gone off one leg this year, and that's just – there's not many guys that have that type of bounce and ability. He's phenomenal. I think he's got a great team. Purdue has a great team, but he is an elite player. He's going to make so much money playing basketball. It's crazy.
So they've shot the hell out of the ball too, and that was our big question mark probably going into the year a little bit, right? I mean, they hadn't shot it well last year.
Yeah, I think they underachieved last year. Right? Sasha Stefanovic is a good shooter. Isaiah Thompson is a good shooter. Didn't get a ton of minutes, but it seems like he's kind of beating out Eric Hunter at that starting point guard spot. Jaden Ivey shooting in the 40s. You said it earlier, he's 27 last year. Brandon Newman, we knew could shoot. Valpo, Indiana, of course he can. But yeah, they have a good shooting team. I was surprised at how they shot it last year. I think Coach Painter was too. I think he felt like they were a better shooting group than they showed.
So Duke loses to Ohio State last night. Has that changed your perception now of Duke being that dominant team? I never thought they were in the first place. I honestly, and I'm not sure Purdue is. I think they are today.
Yeah, that's what all this is fluid. Can you hear the hammering that's going on in my hallway?
Yeah, what are you doing over there?
I'm not doing anything. They're putting carpet down in the hallway of my apartment. I've been trying to mute it, but I'm sorry. Right. That's what's the funny thing about these rankings is these things are all fluid. I said that I think that this is the best Purdue team that I've ever seen, and I believe that. But if they go lose 8 games in a row, that changes, right? Like Duke looked amazing against Gonzaga. Their wins were better than Purdue's. They had beaten Kentucky on a neutral floor. They'd beaten Gonzaga. Purdue had beaten Villanova and a North Carolina team that now that win, while it looked great when it happened, probably has a little bit less cachet. It can go back up. North Carolina can start playing better. But people freak out about these rankings. And it's like, well, you're looking at this and things can change.
They're a snapshot. All they are is a snapshot.
I didn't feel like Duke played well last night. I didn't think Purdue played its best game last night. They won by 30. Duke went into a tough environment, a venue that I don't feel like is always all that tough, but when it's full, it's huge. Ohio State's done a better job of putting the kids on the floor. Once they changed that, when they had the kids on the two ends, it was a really stale atmosphere. It's better now. But yeah,
it's good for big games. Ohio State's
good for big games. Yeah, I've also been there when there's 2 top 10 teams playing and they're selling 2-for-1 tickets. It's football. Right. I didn't think Duke played well last night. I do worry a little bit about their shooting. I think you have to, because especially in this day and age where a team like Purdue is going to chuck them up, or Villanova, whoever. Like there's going to be teams that can make a bunch of threes. But at the end of the day, I didn't think Paolo played great. I thought down the stretch, E.J. Liddell was a freaking monster. But that's been all year. The thing that surprised me about Duke losing to Ohio State is I still feel like their guards are so, I don't even know if this is a word, undynamic. Or nobody's getting in the paint. Cedric Russell makes 3 monster shots, gets a huge rebound. But I do worry about Ohio State and the fact that without Dwayne Washington, without C.J. Walker, Jamari Wheeler, catch and shoot guy, defensive player. Malachi Branham, freshman, very talented, but still hasn't maybe been the guy they hoped would be living in the paint. They don't have that. I mean, they can throw the ball to Zed Key. They can throw the ball to E.J. Liddell. E.J. Liddell can play in the perimeter. But from a guard perspective, I do worry. And it's funny because they beat the number 1 team in the country last night.
But I think
I worry about that.
I think that says a lot about college basketball this year, right? Yeah. Is Ohio State probably right now a fringe top 25 team in terms of talent. And if you take E.J. Liddell off that team, I'm not even sure they're an NIT team.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Now, Zed Key was killing those dudes big last night. Yeah. He is the best celebrator in college basketball. He's got the finger guns. He's got the Rage of the Roost. He is hilarious to watch play. I really like watching Zed Key play. He plays with some real joy. Yeah,
and they have no length. I mean, no length up front. Zed Key and E.J. Liddell, and Liddell's blocking I think he averages like 3 or 4 blocks a game.
Yeah. I mean, they're not big. Liddell is probably 6. At Big Ten Media Day, we were in the same room, standing together. I bet he's 6'6".
Yeah.
Kyle Young, probably about 6'7", 6'8". Right. They're not big. I mean, think about how huge they've been in the past. Think about the Ted Greg Oden, Costa Koufis, B.J. Mullins. It was just like a freaking parade of massive bigs, and they don't have that this year.
No, they don't. All right. Well, listen, we'll wrap here. That was a great interview with Jaden Ivey. You held your own in that one as a fellow Boilermaker. You did a nice job.
Try my hardest.
You did. You came through. I was worried about you. Did you like my list, by the way? Do you want me to, send this to your parents?
You said Brad Miller was 15, and I think you put him at 12. 50, huh? Bobby Riddell, 100?
He's at 12. Bobby Riddell did make the list at 100.
Is he 100 because he turned you down to do a podcast on here?
Yeah, but otherwise he would have been ahead of you. He would have been 49.
I'll have to tell him. Goodman put you in the 100, dude.
This is, by the way, this is like the list. This will be used forever.
Honestly, though, you think that Rick Mount is better than Glenn Robinson?
I mean, I'm not old enough. I know you think I am to have seen it.
Rick Mount was awesome. That's not a slight to him. Big Dog that man scored 1,000 points in a season. You don't have him number 1? These rankings are shit.
I think Rick Mount was he was around West Lafayette a lot longer.
Although, you know what? Rick Mount had games where if they had the 3-point line, he had like 50, and they've gone back and looked at it. And if they've like said, if the 3-point line was in there, he would have had like 67 points against Iowa.
Really? Did he have the set three like you probably did when you grew up?
I never had a set shot. How could you you see me shoot? I never shot with a set shot.
I figured Valpo, when you were young.
Free throw, Valpo free throw, yeah. But not
you guys all learned. I'd actually like to see you with like the Rick Barry free throw.
Canyon doesn't. I play 3-on-3 with his son. Canyon shoots the underhand free throw, and when we've played in front of big crowds, you can hear an audible like gasp, like the air gets sucked out because people are not expecting to see it. And I know in some of these places they're not aware of who his dad is.
Right.
But Canyon is the biggest, and I will tell him I said this on this podcast, the biggest proponent of the underhand free throw ever. If you're shooting like 70%, he'll be like, you should shoot underhand. And he claims to be this elite free throw shooter. And I've seen this dude miss more free throws in 3-on-3 games than anybody in my life. He needs to go shooting overhand.
Really, man. All right. Well, listen, Goodman and Hummel pod in another week. Make sure you listen wherever you listen to your pods. Make sure you watch it, obviously on Twitter, on YouTube, and we'll see you next week.